Hey guys, it's Carson with Tennessee Cash for Homes. Here are the top 5 myths that I thought about real estate that turned out to be completely wrong. Myth number 1, sellers always know what their house is worth. I guess I just assumed that people knew the value of their house, maybe through a neighbor or a relative or what they saw on Zillow. But turns out most of the time, homeowners and sellers don't actually know their true value of their house. Most of the time, the number that they're wanting for the house is exactly that, a want. They want a certain amount of money, walk away after selling the house, but it's not often realistic. When living in a house for a while, you actually become numb or oblivious to the things that are actually wrong with your house. Possibly needing new paint, new floorings, windows, those kind of things that you don't actually take into account into what your home's actually valued at. Since being in real estate, I've been able to separate emotions from reality when it comes to homes, versus most people, this is where they grew up, or this is where they raised their kids, or whatever the case might be. There's an emotional attachment to that house, and so they can't come to terms with, well, this is what it's actually worth. And it's not that the sellers are lying, they just have an emotional attachment to it, and that's completely fine. They need to speak with a real estate professional to understand, well, this is what the property comps out at, this is how much work it needs, and this is what today's market looks like, giving you the value of the property. Myth number 2 is that cash buyers have unlimited funds. While this is true in some regards, it's also not true. Most cash buyers utilize funding, whether it's through hard money lending, private money lending, or their own finances. Obviously, some investors have access to more capital than others do, but for the most part, there's a limit to how many properties a cash buyer can actually purchase at any given time. Something I always like to say is that cash just removes friction, but it doesn't remove math. And when a cash buyer gives an offer on the house that might seem low to you, there's a mathematical equation for why they came up to those numbers. It's not them lying or lowballing or being cheap. It's a mathematical equation for them to know, is this a property I can actually purchase? And the best cash buyers are disciplined. They're not reckless. They don't buy every property or every deal. They take into account, is this calculated? Does this make sense? Is this one I can purchase? Myth number 3, real estate is all about houses. On a day-to-day basis, I deal with homeowners and families that have a variety of different issues or problems or reasonings for needing to sell their house, whether it's a divorce or a financial situation or a job relocation or it's inherited property, or they're just sick and tired of being a landlord. There's a variety of different things, and it's not all about the property. Real estate's really about the people and being able to solve a problem for that person. If you can solve a problem, you can buy a house. And myth number 4, saying no to a deal is bad for business. In the beginning, starting out in real estate, I wanted to buy every house and wanted to be able to help out every single homeowner out there. But as I've learned and got more seasoned and skilled in what I do in real estate, I've learned that saying no sometimes is actually the better decision and more helpful to the seller. As much as you want to say yes to every single deal, you have to be calculated in what you can actually purchase so that you don't end up taking a huge loss. You're not just going to waste your time running around this deal that's not going to perform. And if it's not a deal that we're actually going to purchase and we plan on assigning that property, I'd let the seller know up front. That way the process isn't dragged out and the seller knows from the get-go, hey, this is not a property that they're going to purchase themselves. And myth number 5, selling with an agent is the only way to sell a house. Like I said earlier, real estate's all about people and their situations, and there's not a one-size-fits-all solution for everyone. Sometimes what makes sense for one person doesn't make sense for the other, and vice versa. For someone that has a property that's in disrepair or needs a lot of work, it might make more sense to go with the cash buyer just because it's hassle-free. You can sell it as is and still walk away with a profit. Versus selling with an agent, often it's a more stressful process, it's dragged out longer, and there's a lot more unknowns that go into it. But for some people, it might make more sense to go that route. If you're in no huge rush to sell your house, you're trying to get absolute top dollar, and your house is in great shape, obviously you should go with the listing agent to get that top dollar price. But if you're in a time crunch and you have to sell the property fast and the house needs a lot of work, going the cash buyer route is definitely going to be the best solution for you. At the end of the day, our job is to consult and figure out what solution is best for you and for your needs. If you have a house that you think would be a good fit for a cash buyer, give us a call today, Tennessee Cash for Homes. Thanks.
Tennessee Cash for Homes. 615